This is in response to Vedic Drew's question about the God belief, which, as far as I can recollect, was questioning why humanity, or a huge chunk of humanity, seems to feel the need to believe in a God. It's a kind of complicated question in a sense, because a lot of the reasons don't really make a great deal of sense. They're based upon blind faith, upon the hope that something may be the case if one follows this belief. For example, many people believe in a God beyond them, because of their fear of death, of their desire to not end, to go beyond time, and ultimately to go home at the end of their life and be safe and to live for an eternity. And not only does this belief enable them to do that, it also enables them often to endure quite harsh circumstances in their lives, in the belief that somehow, if they deal with it in a kind of stoical fashion, that this will give them brownie points towards going to the right place afterwards. Now, that in a way is a kind of almost a distortion of what I perceive to be reality. But I think that that is a significant reason why people do believe it. Also, I think in part because there is a sense of wanting to be good, to wanting to be right, wanting to be in the camp of those who are successful in being a human being. But of course the trouble with that is that it puts others in the wrong. I find it quite strange that people believe in a God outside themselves, whether it be an old man in a cloud or anything else. To me, the notion of God is either everything, absolutely everything, including each one of us, or it can't be there. Of course, the difficulty with this kind of belief is that one is separate, is divorced from the rest of existence, is answerable for oneself to a higher force, and not connected really in any way to anyone or anything else. So rather than enabling one to behave in a compassionate and loving way, in the way I believe that I could be wrong, but I believe it was perhaps intended, because I think there is an essence which runs way, way back, say to Egyptian times or pre-Egyptian times, when it really was the symbolic gods who represented our lives and nature, that somehow it ended up from being that connectedness that we all naturally feel to being quite divorced and to being answerable to a father figure who would tell us if we were good or bad, and that the more souls that we could collect for ourselves, like notches on a bedpost, marks on our belt, the better we would be. So it seems to me that largely, unfortunately, though not exclusively, there are some wonderful people who have these kind of beliefs and have managed to make them work for them. But largely it seems to have the opposite effect of the one that is apparently claimed or desired. Containment is what it creates, rather than liberation. A refusal to live the naked truth of what being human, a part of us all, a part of this planet, is really all about.